Welcome to The Gorgeous Effect. I'm Julie Chanel, and with my co-founder, Kathy Olson, we're about to drop some serious tea on how to create funnels that not only look amazing, but actually convert into customers. It's time to show the world what you've got. Let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Gorgeous Effect. Today we're talking about how to un-AIfy your copy. Oy, this is such a hard topic because, Kathy, you just said before we got on the mic, you said, I'm having a hard time knowing the difference. And I think that's because so much copy is AI copy that it's becoming more the norm than human written copy. How'd we get here?
I know. I mean, it used to just be the M dashes. That's all you had to take
I
out.
know. Yeah, just erase the M dashes and you're good.
But that's why, yeah, I was like, you read something that I had grabbed for like an ad or something, I think, and you're like, can you make it not sound like AI? I'm like, what do you mean? It sounds like AI. And you're like, yeah, like and I said, you need to tell me because I am like nose blind to it. Like I can't even see it. And so I forget, you told me the exact lines, but ever since you did that, I've been looking and I've been noticing it in other people's. So there's a way that it almost like logically says, whatever it's like, it starts to like, I think it's like almost in the conclusion. Like,
It does this.
you know what I
It's
mean?
not this, it's that. It's
Yeah.
always, it's not something, it's something. Like you're not spiraling, you're
Yes.
evaluating.
Yeah. As soon as you told me that, now I can't
Now
unsee
you
it.
can't not see it, right?
And it always has a spot where it's like, that's it. That's the change. That's the shift. Like it's always like this little like like takeaway or something. I don't know. Now I see it. So let's break this down for people because I'm sure you do this in Digital Insiders. You're looking at copy and you're like, no, it's I can tell. So like, what are the giveaway? What are the dead giveaways? Like just like that. And also, what can we do if there are dead giveaway? Like how? Because those will start shifting too. So like, how do we make it sound like more?
I actually feel a little bit of an existential crisis as we talk about this because I don't
Mm.
know that we're going to be able to solve this problem at all. I'm like, why are we doing this episode? Like, I'm just like, oh, doom and gloom. Okay, I
Well,
gotta get out.
you have to be doing this. I mean, okay, let's start here. Is there a problem with sounding like AI?
Yes.
Yes, you think like for sure, like people are just writing it off?
Here's my hypothesis.
Okay.
If you are writing in a way that most people will assume that it's you. Okay. Let's say writing an email or writing a caption on social media or a Facebook post. If you write and it's AI and they're trying to assume it's you, that creates cognitive dissonance and that makes them go, oh, I don't want to read that. If you say, hey, this is, Kathy's AI clone, or this is Chat GPT, they will 100% be okay and read it. And I have like evidence for this because I write all my own emails. And if there's a day where I don't have time to write an email, I write an email that says, hey, this is Julie's Chatty G writing in because Julie is too busy.
Yeah.
People will read and respond to that email because they're interested to hear how Chatty G talks about Julie, or they're interested to hear from Julie, but they are not interested in hearing from lazy Julie who just used AI and pretended it was her.
So it's the transparency
I really think that makes
piece.
the difference because I got like 5 new clients from an email I wrote that was like, hey, this is Chatty G checking in. Julie's on the beach on vacation. And I want to tell you all the things that are going on in her Voxer. And I got like 5 new clients from it. But had I pretended
But
that it
not
was
because,
me,
yeah, not because it was the writing that chat
no,
did.
but
It
it
was,
was transparent. They were like, "Oh, let me
yeah.
hear Chatty G's analysis of this," and like they was like curious. So when we say un-AIfy your copy, what we mean is if you are writing as you, it needs to sound like you and not like AI. If you are writing and you are making it clear that it's AI, have all the M dashes you want, right? Like just be clear about it and I think that will help. That doesn't necessarily. So basically we're saying if you want to be you but you want to use AI to do it. If you want to be the lazy version of yourself, here's how to trick people. That's what this episode is.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I also like we just know that, something like 80% of people are using it to write copy.
But
So,
also that's what I'm saying. Also, I'm also saying this like this ideology I have is probably completely like baloney because nobody's going to do it and everyone's just going to use AI to sound like them. So we're all just going to sound like AI and there's nothing
Okay,
we can do
that's
to
it.
stop
The
it.
episode over. Just kidding. Okay, but okay. So let's say,
I love
yeah,
how
the
helpful this episode is. It's
existential crisis aside, let's
okay,
just
okay,
make
fine.
it 10% better. And it
Okay,
doesn't need to be 100% better. It doesn't need to be like we are fooling people and thinking that we wrote like just making it so it's not like it's digestible, like right? Like and not like it's sounding like a robot, right? Like let's just like 10%. We're shooting for 10% better
okay,
the copy. Okay.
okay. Obviously, get rid of the M dashes, get rid of the it's not this, it's that, all that. But the number one way that you can make your AI copy better is for you to do the thinking and AI to do the writing versus AI doing the thinking and writing. Because when AI does the thinking and writing, it's too um I don't know what the word is. It's too put together or it's too choreographed. Like I read it and I'm like, no human thought of that, right? Like that's not like humans are dumber and they're not as good at pattern matching and they don't have as many aha moments, right? Like I used to be like I would be happy if I could get like one really good aha moment in a Facebook post. And then I read a Facebook post and it's like 17 aha moments. And I'm like, come on. Like, so if you do the thinking, like if I say, hey, this is what I want to say, this is why I want to say it, even if you just talk into ChatGPT, like with the voice dictation and then have it write for you, it's going to be better than write me a post about why design sucks on, so and so's, platform. Like it's just gonna sound too intelligent.
Yeah, I think the talking into it is a big piece of it. I think stories are also a big deal. Like telling stories from your life because it doesn't and I also think it's because we speak in stories. I think we understand stories better, even in any situation. Like when we're trying to teach something and we're like, okay, it's like this. Remember the other day I did, and we give an example. Almost when we're in real life situations, we always give examples because pe we can see on people's faces they're confused. And
Yeah.
so like it's like, oh, they need context. Where it gets like muddy is that, yeah, like it never gives context because it doesn't have any context, right? It's just writing from whatever. It has no examples. So sometimes I'll even ask it to like ask me some questions or like if I'm thinking about a post to do, I'm thinking of like real life situations and then I want like chat to help me put that together in a post. And so I will tell the whole story and say, like, I want to tell this story and then let's wrap it up together, just make it make sense. So I think what you're saying makes sense of doing the thinking first, but using actual examples in your real life and in your business and in like, actually working with people and helping people do the thing. If the ahas come from that, then it is more authentic automatically, right? You're kind of building
Yeah.
building in the authenticity.
Yeah. And I guess it comes down to like have thoughts, like be a thought leader. And we had an episode just like 2 weeks, I don't know. We've already done an episode about
Yeah.
that, about like thought leadership. And I
Mhm.
think that that will make your writing more interesting, more human, more story based. And we just finished recording an episode about hobbies and side hustles. And one of the second order effects of that, and you can go listen to that episode, is that when you do stuff, you have ideas, right? And you have aha moments. There are a million aha moments I've had about business, about marketing, just since starting my farm. And that's like a second order effect. And if you are not doing things in life, if you're not experimenting, if you're not taking action, if you're not failing, you're just going to be boring. And then you're really going to sound like AI. And I think that is, probably the biggest hedge against copy that sounds AI-ish is that if you do stuff and then you sit down and you're like, okay, Chatty, this is what just happened. This is why I think this is a cool idea. And then it fleshes it out. It's way more likely to sound like you. Then please write me 30 captions, for the next 30 days about blah, blah, blah.
Another thing that I do, I was just thinking about practically when I try to un-AFI it, is actually switch the order in which it tells. Sometimes it tells stories in a weird order, and I'm like, no
Mm.
one cares about that first. And so like
Yeah.
I'll just start to think about it as like a human, and I'm like receiving the information, and I'm like, no, what do they need to hear first? Like, what do they really care about? Because I think it definitely struggles with the priority of information, the way it gives things, because it's not thinking like first with their emotions. I think it's thinking logically first, maybe. There's something disconnected, and a lot of times I'll just switch up the way like the order in which it's telling it because it doesn't really make sense to like someone that's like has
Yeah.
no context. And then the second thing that I always do is I push back a lot. I'll be like, no one cares about that. Like real people don't like what are you talking like I'll just be like, what are you talking about? No one cares about something. That what they really care about is this. And so I think there's this psychological piece that I'm constantly like telling it, no. We don't care about that. No. That's not what people and
Yeah.
so, but I push back and then I get something better. Or I'll even say, like, why do you think someone really wants this? And then it'll start to kind of talk back to me about the psychology. And then I can kind of find what the hook is in there, what the real hook is in there versus
Yeah.
surface level. So, do
That's,
you,
I mean, that's discernment. That's discernment. That's
mm,
one of the qualities that's not going to go away in AI is the ability, it's like taste. It's the ability to know when something is good or resonant or curious and to know when it's not. And AI is not very good at that.
yeah. So I think those are good takeaways. Telling stories, having discernment, maybe switching the order of things. I mean, even if you like reading it out loud, sometimes I think it's helpful. Like you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like, why are you saying it like that? And then how would I really say it? If you're
Yeah.
trying to get
And
your voice.
I find like when I am in Gmail and I'm writing emails back to people and Gemini, I have all the Gemini features turned on. And so
Yeah.
now it just doesn't give me spell check. It like tells me when my grammar is wrong. Like I could say things tighter and better. And I often like highlight over it to see what it's saying. And sometimes I make the changes, but I find I'm starting to figure out why copy sounds so AI because it's so grammatically correct. And like if I write an email, it's covered in those purple lines. Like you could have said this faster, you could tighten this up. And I'm like, well, there you go. That's the difference between the way I write and the way
Mm.
AI writes. And yeah, it sounds cleaner and neater, but it also sounds more robotic. And if you don't have the Gemini feature turned on in your Gmail, it's not when you, because Gemini will like suggest a reply. I'm saying actually write the reply and watch how much it tries to edit your writing or tell you that you're not doing a good job. And that's the easiest way to see the difference between AI copy and human copy.
Super interesting. And you wouldn't have known that unless you turned it on and saw and
And I
saw
was
that
like,
happen.
why? Yeah, I was like, why does my grammar suck so bad all of a sudden? Like, have I gotten dumber? And then I realized it wasn't even like grammar. It wasn't even like Grammarly. It was just like, say it better. I was like, Gemini was like, this isn't said right. It's not said succinctly enough. I was like, well, what if I don't want it to be sound succinct like that?
Yeah, I mean, you want it to sound like almost imperfect, right? It's like there's some beauty in like the imperfections and like sometimes I'll make a typo or something you've done this too, or you make a typo and then someone calls you out on it and you're like, well, at least it shows that I'm
At
not
least
using
I'm not an
AI. I've actually
AI.
thought about doing it on purpose. Like, should I be putting typos in because so that people don't say that this is AI, kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, and I think we are moving quickly to a world where, pretty much 90 to 95% of the internet will be AI written. I don't know how we escape that. It's kind of like when Gen Xers and Zennials were like in elementary school and they said you have to learn all these math facts because you won't carry a calculator in your pocket everywhere you go, which was hilarious. And now you don't even attempt math without a calculator in most 99% of cases. I feel like that's where AI is headed. I'm sad about it because as a writer, this feels depressing, but I could sit here and wallow in it or I could just get over it. And I think there will always be those people that love the niche, human only, and that will continue to retain value. But I think In the next like year or two, I think there won't be such a nose turn if it's AI written. I think people are tired of AI written copy and they're like, I won't read it. But what happens when it's all AI? What are you going to do then? Just not read? No, you're gonna adapt.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, like I think you're right. I think as we can tell the difference, we're bothered by it. Once we can't tell the difference, we're not gonna. There is not a choice. So I think we just think about it this not long term. We think about this like today, tomorrow, this
Yeah, this
week.
podcast won't age well, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, if you're listening to this, within a month, it might still be relevant. But at least it'll help us right now, or even it's just thinking about it. Like, hey, like we know that maybe your content is not hitting as well because it's AI. So like, can we do something about it? Just like a 10% better so that it
Yeah.
gets a little bit more engagement. Like that's where we're at with this one, right? 10%.
All right. Well, hopefully there are some good stuff to mine out of this episode besides just wallowing in the state of affairs. And as always, if there's any topic you want us to discuss, hit us up in the DMs at Funnel Gorgeous. We love to talk shop about the things that our customers care about. And we will talk to you soon.
Hey, gorgeous. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're thinking, okay, but what now? We've got you. So just for listening today, we want to give you a gift. Head over to learngorgeous.com. We're going to grab some free resources, free trainings, this month's specials, and everything you need to keep going. Until next time, make it gorgeous.